Chapter 681, Terrifying Ocean. Stupid. Who are you calling stupid? I dare you to say it again. I'll cut off your tongue. Nia was outraged. She was a proud, conceited woman with a superiority complex. To her, others should only shower praises on her, flatter her. She could not be sidelined, not even in the slightest, much less be called stupid. That was completely unacceptable. A crime against her. I said you are stupid. Chen Xiaobei made sure to stress each word. About 10 years ago, the Western powers invaded China and had in fact used the phrase dogs and Chinese are not allowed to enter, but that was because they were very strong. Today, our nation is booming and our people are rich. All the countries this world are eager to work with us. Everyone wants Chinese that are capable to contribute to their countries. The fact that you used that phrase to insult me is hilarious. I don't think I can find a better word to describe you. Chen Xiaobei was firm and not intimidated at all, not even in the slightest. He had never bent over backwards just because he was in the presence of someone of a higher standing. Luo Puti was a bundle of nerves, but she did not stop Chen Xiaobei because he had merely spelled out her thoughts. You, Nia glowered at him, but stumbled for words. Because what Chen Xiaobei said was true. Even America would not dare to say that they did not want to work with China. Miss Nia, watch your bearing. The blonde man next to her said under his breath, this is a public place. You are not only representing yourself. Humph. Nia was very upset, but she held herself back and said, what a sharp-tongued Chinese boy. I, Nia, will remember you. After she had spoken, she headed towards the pier on the beach with her 8 bodyguards. The other aristocrats followed suit, chattering amongst themselves with their bodyguards trailing behind them. Who is that kid? I've never heard of such an arrogant Chinese, exclaimed the Russian oligarch of petroleum, clearly amazed. Park Chan-ho was not too impressed. I don't think he's some kind of people with powerful capability. He's probably just another nouveau riche who doesn't know his place and insulted Miss Nia. Duke Gustav sneered. I think that kid has no eyes. I can't believe he didn't know who Miss Nia is. He had the balls to say things like that to Miss Nia. He's looking to die. Chen Xiaobei and Luo Puti followed behind them. That woman is just too conceited. I really wanted to slap her face. Chen Xiaobei said. Stop it. Luo Puti chided, I told you to lay low and you didn't listen to me. Now we're both on the edge of the cliff. Oh, I don't think it's that severe. Who is that woman anyway? Chen Xiaobei asked. She is new wife of the President of the United States, the First Lady. Luo Puti said in a quiet voice. What the f***ck? Chen Xiaobei was a little taken aback. I told you many times before. Those who are able to travel to Paradise Island are not ordinary people. We've provoked her today, nothing good will come from that. Let's leave once we buy the ginseng. In the meantime, please don't draw attention to us. Just put up with it a little while more, okay? I'll do my best. Chen Xiaobei shrugged nonchalantly. Luo Puti kneaded her forehead, hoping that no one else would cause any more trouble with Chen Xiaobei. Otherwise, this kid's bad temper would explode. When they boarded the yacht, everything went smoothly. It was all very peaceful. Who knows what Nia and all the aristocrats were doing on board? Chen Xiaobei and Luo Puti were on the deck chairs enjoying the sun, the breeze, and the luxurious refreshments on board. They even put gold flakes on the desserts. Isn't that too lavish? Are we going to be eating gold when we get to the island? Chen Xiaobei was holding a dainty slice of tiramisu, dotted clusters of gold flakes, like little flowers. You are right. Luo Puti said, in fact, they will be serving caviar more expensive than gold, truffles worth more than gemstones on the island. I can't even pronounce the names of half of those things. That's what they do on that island, burn money. Chen Xiaobei was amazed. He was secretly wondering what would happen if he sent all these luxurious foods to the red envelope group. Surely it would cause an uproar. So when Luo Puti was not paying attention, Chen Xiaobei put the tiramisu with gold flakes into a red envelope. But just as he was getting ready to send it, the yacht came to a halt. What happened? Chen Xiaobei asked. Luo Puti sat up, shaking her head. Captain! What is the matter? Why did we stop? Just then, the blonde man who was with Naya walked out of the cabin. The captain, a middle-aged man, quickly ran over to explain, I saw the two missing yacht about 500 meters ahead. What missing yacht? Explain yourself, the blonde demanded. It's like this. The captain explained, before you came, we had two other yachts that were headed for the island, but it never made it to shore. But I just saw it in front of us. He pointed ahead. There were, in fact, two white little dots that could be seen a distance away. Maybe they had some problem with their boat. Get up close to see if anything happened, the blonde man ordered. All right, we'll make our way there, the captain nodded with a hint of fear in his eyes. Chen Xiaobei and Luo Puti observed the exchange. That captain seems a bit weird, Luo Puti said. I'll go talk to him. Chen Xiaobei got up and walked over. The captain restarted the yacht, and headed slowly towards the other boats. Hey bro, why are moving so slowly? Chen Xiaobei walked into the bridge. No. Nothing. We just restarted, that's why it's a little slow. We'll be faster in a bit, the captain stammered. Hehe, do you take me for a fool? Chen Xiaobei said menacingly, I will feed you to the fishes. No no no. Please don't be mad. There's a reason why I'm driving so slowly. The captain relented. He could not afford to provoke anyone on this yacht. If Chen Xiaobei were to throw him into the sea, authorities from Paradise Island would not even look into the matter. Tell me then. Hurry. I'm not a very patient man. Chen Xiao wanted to scare him, but his main motive is to get the truth out of him. That's because, during this period of time, there has been a lot of missing boats in the waters nearby. People are saying that there is, the captain swallowed. A sea monster. Chapter 682, Number 1 Doctor. Sea monster. Others might not believe the monster tale, but Chen Xiaobei definitely believed it. Judging from the look of the captain, one could see that this matter was still not proven to be true. Before witnessing what had actually happened, no one dared to make any assumptions. You should drive slower. Make sure there's no danger before approaching it. Chen Xiaobei tapped on the captain's shoulder, standing with him in the control to observe the surroundings. Soon, the two yachts that went missing earlier were presented in front of them. It seemed like there was nothing wrong with the yachts since their surroundings were calm and peaceful. Upon seeing Chen Xiaobei nodded his head, the captain slowly maneuvered the yacht to the one in front of them. The Korean, Park Chan-ho, came out from the yacht and ordered, "Few of you, go and check out the yacht." Immediately, his bodyguards did what he told them to do. With their half-step true nirvana cultivation, they managed to leap to the missing yachts easily. Following that, passengers from two missing yachts were being moved to the deck. Clearly, all of them were unconscious. There were an American businessman, 3 bodyguards, 1 captain, and 2 waitresses on one of the yachts. On the other yacht, an Arabian young man with torn clothes and a captain were found. Mr. Park. All of them are unconscious. The cause is unknown. After seeing the unconscious American businessman, Park Chan-ho shouted, "Any doctor here? Mr. Donald is lying on the deck unconscious." "Which Donald? Who else?" "The filthy rich businessman from Wall Street." "It's him? Damn. This is getting interesting. Let's go and take a look." Every passenger from the yacht went and checked on him out of curiosity. "Let me have a look." Naya's arrogant voice could be heard from far. Immediately, all those ultra-rich individuals made way for her to walk to the front. It's Mr. Donald. He is a well-reputable and influential individual of Wall Street. Quick! Bring him over here. After listening to Naya's order, the bodyguards from 2 yachts started to move those unconscious individuals to the yacht Naya was in. I just want you to move Mr. Donald over here. I don't care about the others. Naya raised her voice, her tone filled with disgust. It was as if Mr. Donald's life was the only life that was worthy to be saved. Left with no choice, the bodyguards had to ignore the others and moved Donald to Naya. That woman is so disgusting. Does she really think she is some kind of god? Xiaobei, let's go and check the others out. With your medicinal skill, we do not have to beg for her help. Sister, I thought you asked me to lay low earlier. Lay low my ass. When it comes to matters like this, we do not have to lay low anymore. I really don't like her arrogant look. Great minds think alike. Park, go and take a look at him, said Naya. Hey! Park Chan-ho was startled. Suddenly, a short and small-sized Asian stepped out with a briefcase in his hand. Among 8 Naya's bodyguards, he was the least noticeable one. No one could recognize him because he was wearing shades all this while. You are Mr. Park Il-seung. Oh my god! Korea #1 miracle doctor is with Ms. Naya. Nodding, Park Il-seung could not care less about Park Chan-ho. It was as if the CEO of Samsung Electronics was just another ordinary human being to him. Boss Park, how good is his medicinal skill? Is he really that good? You are a well-respected individual in Korea. How dare he disrespect you, said Duke Gustav. His medicinal skill is something that you cannot imagine. His healing has attained the acme of perfection. Not even the President of Korea can force him to treat his illness if he doesn't want to. Well, it seems like he is really good at what he does. I have to look for an opportunity to make friends with him. Narrowing his eyes, it was as if Gustav just discovered a piece of treasure. Let's go over there. Luo Puti hastened Chen Xiaobei. There's no need to rush. Let me take a look at the patient first. Also, I want to see how good this so-called miracle doctor is. Immediately, Chen Xiaobei used his qi observation skill to check on Donald's illness. On the other hand, Park Il-seung picked up Donald's wrist and started to check on his pulse. Following that, he took out a bag of silver needles to get ready to apply acupuncture treatment on him. Let's go. This is pointless. Chen Xiaobei shook his head and called Luo Puti to check on other patients. Unfortunately, Naya spotted his head shake. Earlier, this arrogant woman was not too happy about Chen Xiaobei's presence. She was actually looking for an opportunity to mess with him. Immediately, she shouted, "Bastard! Why are you shaking your head? Don't pretend that you are good at healing others." I'm pretending? Yes. You are absolutely right. I'm pretending. I shall not stop you guys to play around with a man's life. Playing with a man's life? Dr. Park is the best doctor in this world. How dare you accuse him of playing with a man's life? You are being insulting. In a way, you are insulting me as well, said Naya. Bastard! Stop acting like you are an expert at healing others. You, embarrassing Mr. Park is equivalent to mocking the doctors in Korea. Don't blame me for beating you up if you continue to act like this, said Park Chan-ho. On the other hand, Park Il-seung did not say a word about it. All he did was look at Chen Xiaobei disdainfully. Whatever. Soon, you guys will know whether I'm spouting nonsense or telling the truth. Shrugging his shoulders, Chen Xiaobei then brought Luo Puti to the 2 yachts that stopped across them. Where are you going? Naya asked with her teeth gritted. I'm a doctor as well. I'm going to save the lives of others. Leaving them to die is not the thing that a good doctor will do. My wife is going to punish me severely if she knows about it. The sentence, leaving them to die is not the thing that a good doctor would do, brought Naya and her accomplice to shame. You are just putting on an act. You are just an idiot with zero medicinal knowledge. I will jump off this yacht if you can heal them. Naya declared. This kid knows no bounds. Look at him. No one will believe that a good doctor is this young. Gustav exclaimed. Guys. There is no need to argue with him. Traditional medicinal practice is invented by the Koreans. Dr. Park is known as the god of traditional medicinal practice. Acting tough in front of him is going to cause him to land a few slaps on himself, said Park Chan-ho. Upon hearing that, Park Il-seung was really proud of himself. The way he applied acupuncture treatment on Donald was even more delicate now. He wanted to use his acupuncture skill to slap Chen Xiaobei's face. Like a retard. He is not worth to be called the god of traditional medicinal practice. I'll wait to see you fail. After that, Chen Xiaobei held on to Luo Puti's hand and jumped to the other yacht. When pronounced in Mandarin it's Yishan, which is a wordplay on Dr. Face with tears of joy. Chapter 683, Sea Monster is messing with us. Eat shit. Who are you calling a retard again? All the while, Park Il-seung did not even bother to talk to Chen Xiaobei. Now, he was so angry that he finally chided Chen Xiaobei furiously. Chen Xiaobei was definitely the first person in the entire world that was bold enough to call Park Il-seung a retard. Considering that Park Il-seung had lived arrogantly all this while, there was no way that he could put up with Chen Xiaobei's harsh criticism. This bastard right here is just too damn arrogant. Someone. Please come and teach him a lesson to calm Dr. Park down. Naya and Park Chan-ho shouted at the same time. Few of their bodyguards were eager to take Chen Xiaobei down to be rewarded abundantly. No. Don't do anything to him first. I want to use my healing skill to slap him in the face. I want him to know who the retarded fool here is. After that, you guys can do whatever you want to him. Upon hearing that, all the bodyguards were calmed down. Mr. Park is right. Let him use some real healing skill to embarrass that kid first. After that, he is going to pay for his arrogant attitude. As the Chinese saying goes, try peaceful means before resorting to force, said Naya, with a smile. That's right. Let him have a glance at the real doctor that practices the traditional approach. After all, traditional healing skill is invented by us, the Koreans. He has no right to vilify it. Retarded fool. Why did you mention such an old score? Traditional healing skill is invented by Koreans, the Dragon Boat Festival is invented by Koreans, and Chinese characters are invented by the Koreans. Unfortunately, the Koreans originated from us, the Chinese. You. This is absolutely outrageous. You are going to pay for what you just did to me later. Me, pay for what I did to you? I'm more than happy to do that for you. Question is, do you still think you can stand right and talk to me after? What do you mean by that? Asked Park Chan-ho. Blarg. Suddenly, the unconscious Donald finally woke up. He is conscious. Mr. Donald is conscious. Upon hearing that, all those ultra-rich individuals and Naya gathered around him. Even their bodyguards did the same out of curiosity. Seeing that Donald was vomiting, the crowd assumed that he was going to regain full consciousness soon. Immediately, they started complimenting Park Il-seung. What a miracle doctor! Dr. Park's healing skill is legendary. It is magical. He is really the god of doctors that practice traditional healing. What a miraculous moment! Undeniably, Dr. Park is really good at healing others. However, please don't forget about Ms. Naya. She is the one that brought Dr. Park with her. If not, we will not be able to witness such incredible healing. You are right. We should all learn from Ms. Naya. Let's go to Korea to hire a doctor that practice traditional healing to become our health consultant. My. Naya is really good at looking at the bigger picture. Do you know any other highly skilled Korean doctors that can be recommended to us? All those ultra-rich individuals were taking to turn to lick Naya's boots. Clearly, Naya enjoyed the feeling of being complimented by others. With a proud smile on her face, she said, "Dr. Park can recommend good doctors to all of you here. I'm not trying to brag here. I have to say that the doctors that come from Korea are really good." Before Naya could finish her words, everyone was taken aback. Blarg! A cloud of black chi rose from Donald's mouth when he opened his mouth. Like fireworks, it exploded when it rose to mid-air. Everyone included Naya, some of the bodyguards, and those group of ultra-rich individuals were affected by the black chi. Only 5 bodyguards were powerful cultivation managed to move away from the black chi. What the hell just happened? Dr. Park! What is this? The crowd was left in bewilderment after the cloud of black chi disappeared. Ah! Ugh! Suddenly, Park Il-seung's body shook uncontrollably and collapsed on the ground. With a shaky voice, he said, "Poison. There is poison in my system." Park Il-seung was just squatting right beside Donald earlier, hence, he took in quite a good amount of black chi. Dizzy. I can feel that the world around is spinning. Shit. With her hands holding onto her head, Naya's pupils shrank. Shaking, she could no longer stand properly. "Ms. Naya. Be careful." Ouch. Park Chan-ho wanted to go over to help Naya to stand properly, but his legs went soft and fell on the ground. Bob. 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 After that, those who took in the black chi started to collapse on the ground. What? What the hell is going on? I can feel energy being drained out from my body. I can't move. Not even my fingers. All of them were wailing in fear. None of them had experienced such a strange incident before. Park. Pa. Naya tried to come up with all her strength to shout for help. However, she had to stop shouting after seeing her only hope. Mr. Park was rolling his eyes and spitting white foam. Not even the #1 doctor from Korea could do anything about it. At that moment, everyone including Naya wanted to call Park Il-seung a retarded fool. They would not have gathered around him if they had no faith in his healing skill. If they did not gather around, they would not be affected by the black chi. Maki. Maki. Figure out something. Ask someone to come and rescue us. Immediately, Naya turned around and looked at her bodyguards that managed to run away from the black chi. Maki was the blonde bodyguards that she trusted most. No signal. There's no signal here at all. The blonde man, Maki, shook his head. Clearly, he was very worried. It's pointless. All the communication devices on the yacht are not functioning anymore. If not, the 2 yachts in front of us wouldn't have gone missing. Sea monster. The sea monster is messing with us. We are so dead this time. The captain walked out from the control room and announced in fear. What? Sea monster? Upon hearing that, the crowd was terrified. They could not help but keep on gulping. Even that 5 bodyguards that managed to survive the attack of the black chi were deeply terrified. They would be killed eventually if it was a sea monster that messed with them. Jokers. Now, you should know that I'm right all along. Suddenly, Chen Xiaobei spoke. Looking at those people that were affected by the poison in a mocking manner, Chen Xiaobei wanted to laugh at them for not listening to him earlier. Just now, Chen Xiaobei told them that Park Il-seung was going to kill them, but none of them were willing to believe him. Now, they were filled with regret. Open up your eyes wide to witness the real doctor that practices traditional healing. Xiaobei. Go. Show them what real healing skill is, said Luo Puti proudly, while adjusting her shades. I thought we are supposed to lay low. Lay low my ass. Go and slap their faces now. Chapter 684, Taking Charge Fully. Okay. Let them have a glance at the real doctor that practices traditional healing. With a smile on his face, Chen Xiaobei walked to the Arabian youngster and helped him to sit up with legs crossed. Do you think he has the skill to heal that young man? Look at his age. He is so young, but he has to pretend that he is some kind of miracle doctor, said Park Chan-ho in a shaky voice. Trust me. He is just pretending. He should be thankful that the black qi did not affect him. Don't expect him to be skillful enough to help us to clear out the toxins from our system, said Duke Gustav scornfully. Mackie. Come here. Pay attention to him. Bring him over here if he can heal that young Arabian man, said Naya. Yes, ma'am. What if he fails to do it? Humph. I don't want to see him again since he treats me like an idiot. The way she said it might sound harmless, but Mackie knew exactly what was she trying to say. Naya wanted Chen Xiaobei to be killed if he was of no use to her. With murderous intent, Mackie glared at Chen Xiaobei. Clearly, he did not expect Chen Xiaobei to possess the knowledge to heal that Arab young man. He was ready to kill Chen Xiaobei. 9. 9 Dragon Acupuncture Treatment. That is the legendary 9 Dragon Acupuncture Treatment, Park Il-seung suddenly exclaimed in surprise. He was so excited that he spat white foam while talking. Upon hearing that, everyone shifted their attention to Chen Xiaobei. In a delicate manner, Chen Xiaobei planted his silver needles on the essential acupuncture points on the young Arabian man's body. What is the 9 Dragon Acupuncture Treatment? Asked the crowd. It is the most ancient acupuncture treatment from China. Its origin was from the Qin dynasty. Legend has it that this treatment can cure all kind of illness. It is super magical. I've always dreamt of learning this acupuncture treatment. Clearly, Park Il-seung was filled with unspoken astonishment. I thought acupuncture is supposedly invented by the Koreans, asked Duke Gustav. No. No. Embarrassed, Park Il-seung was forced to spill the truth. He could no longer act like an all-knowing arrogant doctor. After hearing the truth, the crowd started to glare at him disdainfully. As a Korean, even Park Chan-ho was embarrassed by him. Earlier, he mentioned that traditional healing was invented by the Koreans. Now, the so-called number doctor in Korea had slapped him in the face with the truth. Soon, Park Il-seung exclaimed again, Qi. Qi transferring treatment. Oh my god! That kid has mastered the Qi transferring treatment. Again, the crowd focused on Chen Xiaobei. They saw that Chen Xiaobei was placing both of his palms on the young Arabian man's back. From the surface, Chen Xiaobei did not move at all. Actually, he was transferring his qi into the young man's body to force the toxins out of his body just like in the movies. Immediately, streams of black qi started to rush out from the young man's skull and back. This time, the black qi that came out from the young man's body was harmless. It seemed like the young man would be completely healed when all the toxic qi was cleared out from his system. What is the qi transferring treatment? The crowd asked in shock. That Chinese massage technique utilizes the person's qi to force the toxins out of one's pulses, acupuncture points, and sinew. I've dreamt of learning this massage technique for a very long time. Clearly, Park Il-seung was extremely jealous of Chen Xiaobei. As a doctor, the more skills you possessed, the more illness you could cure. 9 Dragon acupuncture treatment and qi transferring skill were far better than all the healing skills that Park Il-seung possessed. Judging from your look, I'm pretty sure this massage technique is not invented by the Koreans, right? Asked the rich Russian businessman. Upon hearing the question, Park Il-seung and Park Chan-ho were so embarrassed by it that they lowered their heads. Rendered speechless, they could only accept the fact that they were going to be slapped in the face by the truth. What are you feeding that young man? Asked Mackie. Chen Xiaobei took out a bottle of 100 herbs potion and fed it to the young Arabian man. Cough. Cough. Right after that, the Arab young man regained consciousness. He was taking in mouthfuls of deep breaths. Awake. He is awake. Oh my god. The liquid in that small bottle is known as the ultra-nutritious healing potion. Right. That's right. That is the potion that you always wanted, right? the crowd said at the same time while rolling their eyes at him. It seemed like everyone knew what Park Il-sung was going to say. Right. That is the potion that I've always wanted. Soon, Park Il-sung lowered his head once again due to embarrassment. At the same time, Park Chan-ho was so embarrassed by it that he could not wait to dig a hole and hide inside it. The number one doctor in Korea was completely defeated by Chen Xiaobei. Acupuncture, massage, and medicine from Chen Xiaobei were far better than Park Il-sung. He cured the young Arabian man. He did it. I never thought that he is the real deal. His healing is really miraculous. I'm impressed. We are safe. This is great. All those ultra-rich businessmen were really excited. They no longer looked at Chen Xiaobei with disdain. All their negative attitudes were replaced by idolization, admiration, and anticipation. Maki. Maki. Ask him to come here to help us to clear the toxin from our bodies, said Naya. Yes, ma'am. Kid. Come over here to heal Ms. Naya. Chen Xiaobei pretended that he did not hear Maki calling out for him. Instead, he continued to observe the young Arabian man. Did you just save me? Thank you so much. Allah has sent a messenger to save my life. From now on, you are my Abuzabi's benefactor. Feeling excited, the young Arabian man was really grateful that Chen Xiaobei just cured him. You are most welcome. You should rest first. Okay. Son of a bitch. I'm talking to you. Can't you hear me calling you? Get over here now. You will surely regret if you force my hand, shouted Maki in a furious manner. On the other hand, the other 4 bodyguards were glaring at Chen Xiaobei as well. Look at my mouth. I.am not going to heal her, said Chen Xiaobei while pointing at his mouth. Chapter 685, Keep it rolling. Blondie. What did you just say? Maki's eyes widened. He knew that Chen Xiaobei was going to say no to him, but he did not expect that Chen Xiaobei would be so firm with his stand. As Naya's bodyguard, Maki had never taken no as an answer. With that being said, Chen Xiaobei's reply was enough to change the way Maki looked at this world. This was definitely the most dominant rejection that he ever received. That kid must be crazy. Saying no to Mr. Maki is equivalent to saying no to Ms. Naya. He is looking for trouble. Let alone Ms. Naya's high and mighty status. Mr. Maki's 40,000 combat power is more than enough to make him yield. Ain't that right? Maki is famous for his bad temper. He is definitely going to beat him up. That kid is the one that looks for trouble. Mr. Maki is not to be blamed. The crowd shook their heads at the same time. To them, Chen Xiaobei would definitely not end well since he just angered Maki. And, that was the harsh truth. Son of a bitch. How dare you reject me? I'm going to have some fun with you. I want to let you have a taste of my Wolverine power. Taking a step forward, Maki was getting ready to dash at Chen Xiaobei and capture him. Upon seeing that, Luo Puti felt extremely nervous. In Europe, Maki the Wolverine was famous for being a god of killing. Killing a person was nothing but a daily chore to him. With his 40,000 combat power, it was more than enough to defeat Luo Puti easily. Other than that, there were another 4 bodyguards with powerful cultivation glaring at Chen Xiaobei. Once the battle started, there was simply no way for Chen Xiaobei to defeat all of them. Still, Chen Xiaobei was no afraid of him. He then said in a calm voice, I'm going to advise you not to engage me. Hurt me and I can promise you that I will not heal your master no matter what. Do you really think you can threaten me? I hate being threatened by others. Those who threatened me before are 6 feet under now. Without a doubt, Maki could be considered as a top-tier elite. He was almost on the same level as Situ Hung Feng. Considering that he was all-powerful and worked for someone politically powerful, it was only normal that he acted in an arrogant manner. Let alone being threatened by others, disrespecting people like him would have severe consequences. Still, Chen Xiaobei did not let fear get the best of him. He continued to speak coldly, "That's right. I'm threatening you. I dare you to come and hurt me. Let's use your master's life as a bet. I will die with your master if you can make me succumb to you. Doesn't that sound like an easy decision to be made? Easy my ass. My life is extremely precious and important. How can one use it as a betting chip? I will never allow this to happen. It's not that I want to use your life as a betting chip. The dog that you own wants to have a bite of me. He is the one that wants to bet on your life. You are blaming the wrong guy here. Mackie. Stop what you are doing right now. Let me talk to Mr. Chen." Immediately, Nia was terrified. To her, she had the most beautiful face in this world, the most powerful position in society, and an immeasurable amount of wealth. There was no way that she would risk her life in a circumstance like this. Fear of death is always the weakness of powerful individuals. Let's take a look at the emperors of China. Emperor Qin wanted to concoct pills that allowed him to live forever. Emperor Kong Xi wanted to ask for an extra 500 years worth of life from the deity in heaven. One can definitely see that they were extremely fearful of death. Though Nia was no way near those emperors, she was still afraid of death. No matter what, she would want to keep her life safe all the time. "Yes, ma'am." Immediately, Mackie nodded his head and took a step back. Actually, he was terrified as well. As a bodyguard of Nia, it would not bode well for him if something bad happened to Nia. It was true that 40,000 combat power was really strong, he alone still could not go against an entire country. The President of America could kill him with just a snap of finger. Seemingly, Mackie would not want Nia to die, all he wished right now was for Chen Xiaobei to cure Nia. A happy ending would be the best for everyone. "Mr. Miracle Doctor. It is just a misunderstanding. I would like to apologize for my impolite attitude. I hope you can help us to clear the toxins out of our bodies," said Mackie. "Mr. Miracle Doctor. It's all my fault. I will not talk trash in front of you. Traditional healing method is the greatest invention of China. I have to say I'm really impressed by China's doctor. Please save us," pleaded Nia politely. At the same time, Park Chanho was afraid of being killed by the toxin as well. He kept on begging Chen Xiaobei in a hysterical manner. "That's right. People from China are the best. The healing knowledge of China is the best in this world. Truly, I have mad respect for the doctors that come from China. Please save us. I beg you." Suddenly, all the ultra-rich businessmen started to beg Chen Xiaobei to heal them in the same manner. "Humph. With a few nice words, do you really think I will forgive you guys? My healing skill is more valuable than that." After ignoring them, Chen Xiaobei went and helped the captain of the yacht to clear the toxins from his body. When ordinary people were in danger, Chen Xiaobei would definitely save them without any hesitation. However, when hypocrites like Nia were in danger, Chen Xiaobei would definitely give them a hard time to learn some lessons before saving them. Standing aside and watching Chen Xiaobei, Luo Puti was impressed by the way Chen Xiaobei dealt with this matter. Saving lives was what a doctor would do, and not being afraid of bad people with powerful authority was what a real man would do. "Mr. Chen. We have learned our lesson. Please tell us what can we do for you to change your mind? Just name it. We will say yes to all your requests." Nia knew that Chen Xiaobei would never say yes to her easily. That was why she had to come up with this strategy. Immediately, all the other ultra-rich individuals said the same thing as well. They mentioned that they could fulfill any of his wishes. "I want that blondie to roll on the floor like a dog," said Chen Xiaobei while glaring at Mackie. "Son of a bitch. What did just say?" Asking him to roll like a dog had completely crossed the line. "Mackie. Watch your manners. Mr. Chen asked you to roll on the floor. Just do it," shouted Nia. "That's right. Mr. Mackie. You won't lose a piece of flesh if you roll on the floor, said Park Chan-ho. Mr. Mackey. Just do it. It will not end well for you if any one of us here are hurt, threatened Duke Gustav. Just do it. Mr. Mackey. Roll on the floor. Roll on the floor. Everyone shouted at him at the same time. Blarg. Mackey coughed out a mouthful of warm blood in frustration. However, he was just a bodyguard after all. He had no choice but to follow his master's order. Due to anger, he ended up rolling on the floor with extra force. Splash! Mackey dropped into the sea accidentally. Well, this was awkward. This is the legendary Wolverine of Europe. Startled, Luo Puti could not fathom what she just witnessed. On the other hand, Chen Xiaobei was calm as usual. This was how a miracle doctor should behave. Chapter 686, Threat by Naya. Mr. Chen. Are you happy now? Can you help us to clear the toxins from our bodies now? Mr. Chen. Please help us to clear the toxins from our bodies. Park Il-sung has passed out. We are going to lose consciousness soon as well. Mr. Chen. Please. Sob. Seeing that Park Il-sung was lying on the ground like a dead fish, the crowd started to beg Chen Xiaobei to save them in a hysterical manner. As for Mackey, no one really cared about him anymore. I did not say that I will help you guys after Mackey rolled on the floor. I remember someone said that she will jump into the sea if I manage to clear the toxin out from one's body. I think she should jump into the sea first. Upon hearing that, Naya's face changed immediately. Mr. Chen. Please don't do this to me. Listen to me. I think you don't know my true identity yet. I'm the First Lady of America. First Lady of this world. As long as you decide to save my life, I can promise you an unlimited amount of wealth. I will give you all kind of power that you want as well. There is only a small misunderstanding between us. It is not necessary for me to jump into the sea, right? Immediately, everyone nodded their heads. Even Luo Puti wanted to advise Chen Xiaobei not to mess the whole thing up. Unfortunately, Chen Xiaobei had no intention to listen to their advice. He then continued to heal the captain of the yacht. Soon, the captain regained consciousness. Naturally, he was very grateful that Chen Xiaobei had saved his life. You should rest first. After that, you should check out the yacht to see whether it is still functioning. All right. Let me make a trip to the control room right now. The captain nodded his head and went off. Mr. Chen. You can't just leave us here. Don't do this to us, please. I beg you. Immediately, the people with poison in their bodies screamed their lungs out. All of them thought that Chen Xiaobei was going to leave them to die. As their bodies were getting weaker, they might pass out any time soon. Fear came out from the unknown. Every single of them did not know whether they could still regain consciousness after they passed out. After knowing that Park Il-sung could not clear the toxins from the body, Chen Xiaobei became their only hope. There was a high chance that even the hospital would not be able to help them. Fear started to creep into their minds when they thought about it. Running out of options, they had to beg Chen Xiaobei for the antidote. Earlier, all of them were eager to force Mackey to roll on the floor. However, when it came to Naya, none of them dared to force her to do anything because her true identity was simply terrifying. That was why offending her was definitely a moronic move. Upon seeing that, Naya became even more nervous. Mr. Chen. I know that you don't like me. But, you should know that I have America supporting me. We have the most powerful army in the world. We also have a secret special squad as well. Also, we have elites that are more powerful than the people on God of War leaderboard. I think you should reconsider your decision. Think about it. Do you want to become our friend or enemy? So, are you threatening me right now? I don't mean that. I just want to let you know that becoming my enemy will not bring you any benefits. Work together with me and you will receive lifelong benefits. The reason behind why Naya was so confident of herself was because of America. With America as her backup, she could literally do everything with confidence. Hee. What if I choose not to work together with you? Chen Xiaobei laughed scornfully. Upon hearing that, the crowd took in a deep breath thinking that Chen Xiaobei was simply too arrogant. Refusing to help Naya was equivalent to declaring a war on America. At the same time, Luo Puti was feeling nervous for Chen Xiaobei as well. Clearly, she knew that America was the ruler of this world. They would definitely not allow anyone to threaten their power. To be honest, I'm really impressed by your attitude. You are just a doctor but you are arrogant enough to put America aside. I can promise you that my husband will avenge me if I'm dead. By that time, your friends, lovers, and families will definitely be hurt. With that being said, you are a cold-blooded animal if you still refuse to help me. Xiaobei. I think it's time to put a stop to this mess. I know you are not afraid of her but you have to think about your parents. You do not want to make this mess any bigger. Trust me. At the same time, those ultra-rich businessmen started to put pressure on Chen Xiaobei as well. Mr. Chen. You better think about it. You do want to mess with the almighty America. Mr. Chen. You are still young and your future is really bright. You are going to regret your actions if you make the wrong choice here. You should think about others even if you do not care about yourself. The crowd was trying their best to convince Chen Xiaobei to change his mind. Upon seeing that, Naya finally let out a sigh of relief. Feeling confident, she knew that no one would not succumb to her after she made the threat. As long as Chen Xiaobei succumbed to her authority, the toxins in her body would be cleared eventually. By that time, she would definitely think of some ways to make Chen Xiaobei pay what he did to her. So much bullshit. Right after that, Chen Xiaobei leaped to the other yacht and strode towards Naya. Hee. Finally, you made up your mind? Just like the Chinese said, those who suit their actions to the time are wise. Succumbing to my power is definitely the best choice you have made in your life, said Naya. Immediately, the people around her started to lick her boots. Ms. Naya is the best first lady in this world. Only you can figure out ways to save us. It's all thanks to you that we are saved. Thank you so much. All those compliments made Naya really happy. This was the kind of feeling that she enjoyed most. Kid. Heal me now and I will make you become a health consultant. I can promise you that you will get to enjoy an unimaginable amount of wealth. Seeing that Chen Xiaobei strode towards her, Naya became even more confident. Without saying a word, Chen Xiaobei picked Naya up like picking up a small chick. What? What are you trying to do? Naya shouted, startled. I want to tell you that not everyone is afraid of America. After that, Chen Xiaobei walked towards to the back part of the yacht while carrying Naya with him. You! How dare you! Help! Help! Quick! Save Ms. Naya! All four of Naya's bodyguards shouted at the same time. Immediately, all four elites with half-step true nirvana dashed at Chen Xiaobei. However, Chen Xiaobei was not afraid of them at all. He did not even plan to dodge the attack. Die! The four of them were powerful enough to kill Chen Xiaobei easily. Pow! 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 Suddenly, a beautiful and elegant frost wave came crashing down on them. Within seconds, all four of them were defeated. Chapter 687, Sea Monster appears. With Luo Puti's current cultivation, she could easily defeat all of them. Landing a hit on each bodyguard, all four of them were hurt so badly that they could not stand up anymore. On the other hand, Luo Puti was standing beside Chen Xiaobei steadily. Her cap and shades were still in place, unmoved. One could see that the gap in terms of combat power between Luo Puti and the bodyguards were really huge. This is so terrifying. I cannot believe that a Chinese woman possesses such immense strength. 4 highly paid powerful bodyguards were defeated within seconds. Am I dreaming or what? We are so done this time. No one can save Ms. Naya this time. Taken aback by Loyal Pewdie's powerful cultivation, all of them were filled with despair. Hey! Don't play with fire. Don't forget there is a 40,000 combat power Wolverine waiting for us, said Loyal Pewdie. Before Chen Xiaobei could respond, Naya started to scream. Mackie! Help! Where the hell are you? Come and save me! Splash! Without a doubt, Chen Xiaobei tossed Naya into the sea. Due to the poison in her system, she sank right after she hit the ocean because her body was paralyzed. She would definitely drown if no one saved her. This. Upon seeing that, people around Chen Xiaobei were left in bewilderment. A simple statement like that had caused an explosion in their hearts. None of them expected that Chen Xiaobei would throw the respectful and fearsome First Lady to the ocean like a bag of garbage. They had crossed path with a lot of people with dominant auras, but this was definitely their first time seeing such an insane individual like Chen Xiaobei. Bastard! How dare you! Let's go! Things will become really complicated when Mackie is back. Startled, Loyal Pewdie held on to Chen Xiaobei's hand and wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. He would have gotten back by now if he can do so. What do you mean by that? Loyal Pewdie and the crowd had shocked looks on their faces. With Mackie's combat power, he should be back by now. But, it's been quite some time since he fell into the sea. Something bad must have happened to him. Maybe, there is something unusual going on in the sea. The crowd came up with different speculation after realizing that Mackie did not come back from the sea. Sea monster! It must be the sea monster, the captain of the yacht bellowed fearfully. Can you stop being funny? There is no sea monster. Before those ultra-rich businessmen finished mocking the captain of the yacht, they saw something that they would never forget. Splash! A giant creature surfaced from the sea. Water was pouring down from its gigantic body like a waterfall. Soon, a terrifying enormous black snake was presented in front of the crowd. Its half-shown body's length was around 10 meters. Combined with the lower part of its body, its total length should not be less than 30 meters. As thick as a giant ancient tree, one could see that there were spikes growing on its scale like an armor. On its head, a terrifying-looking crown could be seen. The spikes on its crown made the creature exude a dominant aura. Good heavens! What the hell is that? We are so done. We are going to killed by this sea monster. Leaving them in fear after witnessing the real monster, all those ultra-rich individuals started to scream hysterically. Considering that all of them were in a weakened state, most of them passed out after being terrified by the sea monster. Xiaobei. Feeling worried, Loyal Pewdie held on to Chen Xiaobei's arm unconsciously. The gigantic snake that appeared in front of them looked like the monster from a fantasy novel. Though Loyal Pewdie had seen a lot of strange things in her life and she was actually quite brave, it was actually completely normal for her to be afraid of this creature. Don't be afraid. On the other hand, Chen Xiaobei was calm as usual. Immediately, he went ahead to console Loyal Pewdie. It's just a small snake. It's no big deal. Small snake. Upon hearing that, Loyal Pewdie and those people who were still conscious wanted to chide Chen Xiaobei for his tough act. How daring of him to say that a scaly 30-meter-long sea monster was just a small snake. In their eyes, Chen Xiaobei was absolutely ridiculous. Truthfully, Chen Xiaobei was not trying to act tough at all. There was an 18 meters long and 3 meters wide dragon dick in his treasure chest. As compared to the gigantic dragon that Chen Xiaobei had in mind, this sea monster was definitely just a small snake to him. Roar! Seath! Seemingly, the gigantic snake heard that Chen Xiaobei called it a small snake and it was not happy at all. Its red eyes glared at Chen Xiaobei furiously. Shit! That kid just angered the sea monster. We are going to be killed with him. No. I want to die yet. No. I want to live longer. After a long wail, a few of them passed out. Shit. Asshole. You act tough at the right moment. I don't think I can defeat a sea monster like this. Pumpkin. Don't you worry. This small snake just told me that it does not want to kill innocent people. Actually, it wants us to leave this place. This is really not the time to act like a smart ass. Are you trying to communicate with it? Do you really think you are a god? Not knowing that Chen Xiaobei had already mastered zoolingualism, Luo Puti felt extremely nervous and worried. To her, it was simply impossible to defeat a monster like that. I'm really a god. Just watch me. With a smile on his face, Chen Xiaobei started to communicate with the snake. I can't believe that you are not afraid of death. All she heard was gibberish coming out from Chen Xiaobei. Clearly, she did not understand a single word that Chen Xiaobei uttered. However, Luo Puti was dumbfounded the next second. She did not expect that the angry and agitated giant snake would calm down after Chen Xiaobei talked to it. Also, she noticed that its red eyes looked joyful. Is that kid talking to the sea monster? How? How is that even possible? How did he communicate with the sea monster? This is truly unbelievable. It seems like the sea monster is pleased with us. Is it going to spare our lives? The crowd was trying to figure out what was going on with the sea monster. The sea messenger. This young man is the sea messenger. Just when everyone was awestruck, both captains and the young Arabian man ran to Chen Xiaobei. All three of them kneeled in front of Chen Xiaobei immediately. Chapter 688, Dancing at One's Grave. Human. I can't believe that you can understand my language. Feeling excited, it was as if this giant scaly serpent was waiting for someone that could understand its language. So, what do you want to tell me? Where should I begin? I'm the one that poisoned all those people. And, I'm the one that ordered electric eels to destroy the communication devices on the yachts. Why would you do that? For 300 years, I'm the king of this area of ocean and I've been training for the longest time I can remember. My ancestors' graves are located not far from here. Sometime, 1 or 2 boats will pass by right on top of their graves. Running out of options, I have to put up with it. Recently, the frequency of boats passing by my ancestors' graves is increasing. How are my ancestors going to rest in peace if I don't take this matter into my own hands? With all those guilt, I won't be able to focus on my training. That is why I had no choice but to force the human to change their traveling routes. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Feeling uneasy, the giant serpent was worried that Chen Xiaobei might not understand its intention. Actually, most of the conflicts stemmed from miscommunication and misunderstanding. If humans could understand the giant serpent's intention, peace could definitely be achieved. On the contrary, if the giant serpent's heartfelt wishes were not met, the misunderstanding and conflict would only get worse. At the end, an imminent war would definitely happen. Yes. I understand your intention. We, humans, are the same. We will never allow anyone to step on our ancestors' graves. Letting the boats to pass by your ancestors' graves is no different from letting someone dance on it. No one can put up with that. This is great. You can understand my intention. Immediately, the giant serpent shook its head due to overwhelming happiness. This sea monster might look terrifying, but it was actually not evil. All it ever wanted was for someone to listen to its voice. Truthfully, most beast attacks on humans were caused by miscommunication. Most of the conflict could actually be solved easily if they could understand each other. That was why it was important to learn an extra language. I want you to help me to convince the owners of those boats to change their daily traveling route. In return, I can help all those people to clear the toxins from their bodies. Also, I will give you something really precious as a thank you gift. I'm more than willing to help you, but I can't guarantee that my efforts will pay off. The identities of those boat owners are really special. They might not want to listen to what I have to tell them. Understood. I know this is not an easy favor. There will be hope as long as you agree to help me. Okay. Can you please bring those 2 persons that fell into the sea earlier back to this yacht? They cannot die here. If not, this problem can never be solved if the military is involved. Okay. The giant serpent nodded its head and hollered at the sea. Splash! Splash! Soon, 2 other giant serpents surfaced. However, the size of their bodies was smaller than the Serpent King. On their tails, Naya and Maki could be seen lying there unconscious. Just tossed them on the yacht. Pow! Pow! Immediately, the 2 smaller serpents tossed them on the yacht. Should I help them to clear out the toxins from their bodies now? No rush. Chen Xiaobei then shook his head, turned around and looked at the people on the deck. At the same time, the way that those people that were still conscious were staring at Chen Xiaobei with fear and respect. It was as if he was the god that they had been waiting for to rescue them. Including Luo Puti, none of them could understand the conversation between Chen Xiaobei and the giant serpent. However, their eyes would never deceive them. Seeing the 2 serpents tossing Naya and Maki back onto the yacht was enough to prove that Chen Xiaobei possessed the ability to communicate with the serpents. Knowing that he could order them around made it look even more unbelievable. No wonder the 2 captains and the young Arabian man kneeled in front of Chen Xiaobei and called him the sea messenger. Considering that the 3 of them stayed right beside the sea, it was completely normal for them to worship the sea god. The sea messenger was like the spokesperson of the sea god. That was why all 3 of them worshipped Chen Xiaobei. Listen carefully. This area of ocean belongs to the sea god over here. All of you here have angered him. That's why the poison is in your body. I have told him to let you guys live for now. As an exchange, your lives are in my hands now. All of you here have to help me to finish the tasks given by the sea god. Following that, Chen Xiaobei took out a dozen of 100 herbs potion from his pocket. Is that magic? What magic? That is a skill. The skill of the sea messenger. This is so magical. Bemused, the crowd could not believe what they just saw. On the other hand, Luo Puti was puzzled as well, as she always saw that Chen Xiaobei took out different kind of items from his pocket. She even wondered whether Chen Xiaobei's true identity was Dariman. Take this and drink it. First, Chen Xiaobei handed the 100 herbs potion to the captains and the young Arabian man. After that, he fed the rest to those who were poisoned. Most of it was the real 100 herbs potion. Among all the 100 herbs potions, 5 of them contained the mother-child voodoo worm. To be practical, Chen Xiaobei fed them to the 5 individuals with powerful cultivation. They were Maki, Duke Gustav, and 3 of Naya's bodyguards. As long as Chen Xiaobei managed to control all 5 of them, the whole incident would go his way. It's so comfortable. What kind of medicine is that? I can feel my strength coming back. The sea messenger is really powerful. We should not anger him anymore. Thank you, sea messenger. Thank you so much. The magical effect from the 100 herbs potion made all of them really happy. At the same time, their respect and fear towards Chen Xiaobei grew as well. Alright. Within 24 hours, the poison in your body will be cleared automatically. Right after that, Chen Xiaobei turned around and talked to the gigantic serpent in zoolingualism. Please help them to clear the toxins from their bodies after 24 hours. No problem. The serpent nodded its head and brought the other 2 smaller serpents back to the deep sea. 24 hours. Taken aback, Luo Puti remembered the voodoo worm that Chen Xiaobei used to control his enemies during their stay in Zhong State. She finally realized that Chen Xiaobei tossing Naya into the sea was not an impulsive decision. It was a punishment for her. With this plan in mind, it was no wonder Chen Xiaobei was not afraid of Naya's threat. Luo Puti could not help but take a good look at Chen Xiaobei. She felt like she could no longer read his mind. Xiaobei, what's the cultivation of that giant serpent? I see that it's powerful enough to render Maki defenseless. Chapter 689, The Sea Messenger has full control over your life. The small serpents beside the gigantic serpent are at later phase of true nirvana stage. Their combat power is around 40,000. With poisonous gas on their bodies and the ocean as their battlefield, it is simply not possible for Maki to defeat them. As for the Serpent King, its cultivation is at pinnacle phase of true nirvana stage. Its combat power is around 50,000. It seems like it is going to break through true nirvana stage really soon. Maki would surely be killed by it if Maki attacks it. Oh my god! Pinnacle phase of true nirvana stage. And, it is about to break through this stage. Its cultivation is on the same level as the person that's ranked first in God of War leaderboard, Lu Ziwan from Xianjian faction. Lu Ziwan? Is he going to achieve a breakthrough soon as well? Yes. Within China, not taking the ancient factions into account, there is a high chance that Lu Ziwan will break through true nirvana stage before anyone. I see. Let's take a rest inside the yacht. We will set sail to our destination after 24 hours. Chen Xiaobei then asked the two captains and the young Arabian man to take a rest at the other yacht. Considering that they respected the sea god a lot, they would not dare to disobey the sea messenger, Chen Xiaobei. Right after they left, Chen Xiaobei and Luo Puti started their training in the yacht. Training was the best way to pass time. Once the person stepped into the zone, 24 were like minutes to them. Luo Puti had her heirloom, Frost Phoenix spiritual jade with her spiritual chi was never a problem for her. Though she never lacked spiritual chi, her speed of digesting spiritual chi was definitely slower than Chen Xiaobei. If she could train like Chen Xiaobei, the spiritual chi stored in Frost Phoenix spiritual jade would have been drained completely hundreds of times. Following that, Chen Xiaobei took out his green jade gourd and consumed a mouthful of concentrated spiritual chi from it. However, he could not step into the zone after meditating for quite a long time. When Luo Puti mentioned Lu Ziwan, naturally, Chen Xiaobei would think about Lu Shenyi and Lu Suangzin. This time, a lot of new talented players would join the martial arts competition. That was why Lu Shenyi was no longer the top elite. However, Elder Qi mentioned that Lu Shenyi had been training hard secretly recently and he would bring Lu Suangzin with him during his training. Something fishy must be going on with them. After putting some serious thought into it, Chen Xiaobei still could not fathom the reason behind it. With Lu Ziwan's capability and ambition, he would definitely not allow his own grandson to be hurt or defeated in this upcoming martial art competition. Somehow, Chen Xiaobei felt like Lu Shenyi and the Lu family were going to bring a huge surprise to everyone. Of course, this was just Chen Xiaobei's speculation. Eventually, he would have to make a trip to Xianjian faction to look for the answers to his questions. Okay. I shall make a trip to Xianjian faction after I deal with all the matters that I have on my plate. Soon, all the distractions were gone after Chen Xiaobei made up his mind. With the help of the scripture of heaven and earth, Chen Xiaobei entered the zone immediately. On the second day, Chen Xiaobei's combat power had increased by 900. It was now 15,900. Upon activating Primordial Witch King Combat Enhancement Training, his combat power could be boosted to 20,300. As such, there was a chance that Chen Xiaobei could finally defeat opponents that just achieved half-step true nirvana stage. Splash! A loud water splashing sound could be heard from outside the yacht. Seemingly, the Serpent King was back. Immediately, Chen Xiaobei and Luo Puti went and checked it out. Can I help them to clear the toxins out from their bodies now? You may, said Chen Xiaobei while nodding. The serpent kind then closed its eyes and started to chant. Naturally, Chen Xiaobei could not understand a single word from it. Soon, streams of black qi started to rise from those who were poisoned earlier. With the help of the 100 herbs potion that they drank last night, they would regain consciousness after all the toxins were removed from their bodies. All right. You should head back now. Chen Xiaobei waved his hands to ask the Serpent King to leave them. I can't leave now. I'm afraid they will think of some ways to make you pay for what you did to them. I can stay here to protect you. There's no need for that. I can protect myself. The important thing is you cannot make them your enemies. If not, they will make sure that you will never be able to live in peace. This. Taken aback, the Serpent King could understand what Chen Xiaobei was trying to tell it. Those people that were poisoned earlier were not ordinary people. Messing with any of them would mean endless waves of trouble. At a time like this, one should not attempt to come in contact with people like them. As such, Chen Xiaobei would naturally become the one to be blamed. Feeling guilty, the Serpent King could not think of a better way to thank Chen Xiaobei. Benefactor. Please accept my utmost gratitude. No matter how this matter ends, you will forever be the benefactor of my kind. Forever the best friend of my kind. I will definitely reward you abundantly. Okay. Go now. Looking calm, Chen Xiaobei waved his hands at the serpent. The reason that he decided to take all the trouble upon himself was not because he had a heart of gold. It was because he had already offended Naya several times. Eventually, he had to face Naya and overcome all the troubles that came to him. Helping the Serpent King was like a friendly gesture without extra cost to himself. Ugh. Right after the Serpent King left, all those that were poisoned earlier started to regain consciousness. Then, the crowd was separated into two different groups. Those that believe in the sea god were on Chen Xiaobei's side. These people were Luo Puti, 3 captains, Abuzabi, the young Arabian man, a petroleum tycoon from Russia, and 2 of his bodyguards. As for others, they still insisted to stand by Naya's side. Some of them did not see Chen Xiaobei talking to the Serpent King because they were unconscious. Hence, they did not believe in the existence of a sea monster. As for the people that witnessed Chen Xiaobei communicating with the sea monster, they were simply afraid of making Naya their enemy. After all, the sea monster was just an unconfirmed tale. But, powerful America was the real deal. Bastard! Now that the poison is gone from my body, you can now tell me your final words, said Naya with a grim smile on her face. After being tossed into the sea, she was unconscious. So, she did not believe in the existence of the gigantic serpent and sea messenger. Ms. Naya, you must calm down. The miracle doctor. Wait. The sea messenger has our lives in his hands. Please do not anger him, pleaded the Russian man, Blazachikowski. Clearly, he did not want to offend anyone. Humph. Messenger? Have our lives in his hand? I think you are seeing things that do not exist after you were poisoned. How could you say something this stupid? Said Naya. Naya. You don't have to waste your time to talk to people like him. Now that the poison is gone from our system, that son of a bitch is of no use to us. It's time for revenge. I'm going to make him pay for what he did to me by 100 folds. Hundreds of folds are not enough. It has to be thousands of folds. How dare he toss me into the sea? I have not received such humiliation in my life before. In order to calm me down, he has to be gone from this world. Yes, ma'am. I will do whatever that pleases you. 40,000 combat power was unleashed when Maki dashed at Chen Xiaobei. With his golden Trukong being materialized, a ferocious wolf head could be seen being projected onto his head. A pair of sharp wolf claws were equipped on both of his hands like Wolverine's armor. So powerful! I think he can defeat me with only a single skill, said Luo Puti. Kneel down, Chen Xiaobei ordered nonchalantly. Chapter 690, Potty Mouth deserves to be slapped. Kneel down. Upon hearing that, everyone was taken aback. Did that kid just ask Maki to kneel down in front of him? Is he crazy? Park Chan-ho shouted. He is definitely crazy. Look at the powerful aura exuded by Maki the Wolverine. Even I have to avoid this battle. Duke Gustav shook his head. To him, Chen Xiaobei was being a suicidal fool right now. Go and get him. Maki. How dare he asks you to kneel down in front of him? You must make him pay for what he did to you. Double, said Naya. You guys got it wrong. I'm asking all of you to kneel down in front of me. Blondie is not the only that needs to do so. What? Infuriated, the crowd could not believe what they just heard. Son of a bitch. Do you think this is the right time to say something like this? How dare you act in such an arrogant manner? The toxins have been cleared from our bodies. You can't threaten us anymore, shouted Park Chan-ho. What a joke. I'm the Duke of the Deathbane family. It is not possible for me to kneel in front of you, declared Gustav, with his head lifted high. It was as if he had already forgotten how he begged for his life earlier. Maki. Do it now. I've had enough. I want you to break his legs first. Make him kneel in front of us. After that, we can slowly torture him. Yes, ma'am. That is what I plan to do as well. Murderous intent emanated from Maki when he glared at Chen Xiaobei. Like a deranged wolf, Maki dashed towards Chen Xiaobei like a wolf locked onto its prey. Mr. Messenger. Quick. Take back what you just said. Mac the Wolverine can destroy an entire army alone. This is no joke, said Blazachikowski. Mr. Messenger. That monster dashing towards you. It is absolutely terrifying. Abusabi and three captains shouted in fear at the same time. Maki's aura alone was enough to cause them to tremble in fear. At this moment, Luo Puti still managed to remain calm because she knew the ending before the battle even begun. Ugh! Suddenly, Maki wailed in pain. Next second, he fell to the ground while pressing onto his heart with both of his hands. Ugh! Ah! What? What the hell is going on? With his face contorted, the veins on his forehead popped out. His face was as pale as a sheet and his entire body started to shaking uncontrollably as well. Because of this excruciating pain, his materialized Trukong armor disappeared. Who would have thought that an elite with 40,000 combat power would kneel on the ground and lose the strength to stand up? Maki. What happened to you? Freaked out, Luo Puti wanted to know what had happened to Maki. Immediately, everyone was all ears to listen to Maki's response. None of them could figure what had just happened to Maki. My chest. It's like being stabbed by a knife. It's so painful. Blarg. Before he could finish with his words, Maki coughed out a mouthful of foul blood. There was some minced meat mixed inside his blood. It seemed like his heart was shredded into pieces. Asterisk pow. Maki laid flat on the ground. Blood was still gushing out from his mouth. His heart had stopped beating. Everyone around Chen Xiaobei was rendered speechless. Other than Luo Puti, everyone else was affected by what they just saw. Frozen, they could feel that their hearts were about to leap out of their mouths. Immediately, they were reminded that Chen Xiaobei owned their lives. A few seconds ago, they thought it was a harmless joke. Now, the truth was presented in front of them. There was no way that they could deny it. Chen Xiaobei then passed by Maki's corpse and strode towards the stunned crowd. So, the toxins have been cleared out from your bodies and I can't threaten you anymore? Is that right? Chen Xiaobei looked at Park Chan-ho with a scornful smile. Immediately, Park Chan-ho kneeled in front of Chen Xiaobei and said, Mr. Mr. Messenger. It's all my fault. My potty mouth is to be blamed. Please forgive me. I beg you. You should slap yourself if you know you have a potty mouth. This. Bewildered, Park Chan-ho hesitated. He was after all the CEO of Samsung. The growth of the entire Korea was highly dependent on him. Asking him to slap himself was definitely a ridiculous request. He would definitely be embarrassed if others knew about it. By that time, his company and the entire Korea would lose their faces. So? You are not willing to do it? A simple question like that made Park Chan-ho feel like he was about to be chopped into pieces. I'm willing to do it. More than willing. Promptly, Park Chan-ho lifted his hands and started to slap himself non-stop. He was a coward in the beginning. When it came to death, face was no longer important to him. Without saying a single word, Chen Xiaobei glared at Park Chan-ho's bodyguard and the bodyguards kneeled down in front of him immediately. Seeing that Park Chan-ho was slapping himself, all his bodyguards did not dare to not do anything. They too lifted their hands and started to slap themselves. Chen Xiaobei then walked towards Duke Gustav and asked, knowing that you are the Duke of the Deathbane family, your status should be high, right? I think you will rather kill yourself than kneel in front of me, right? Rather die than kneel in front of you? No. I have never said anything like that. Trembled, Gustav kneeled and started to beg. Mr. Messenger. Please do not stoop to my level. The things that I said just now was just pure nonsense. Nonsense? No wonder it smells like gas. So disgusting. It's all my fault. All my fault. I should slap myself as well. Before Chen Xiaobei ordered him to do so, Duke Gustav was smart enough to know that he should slap himself. At the same time, all four of his bodyguards kneeled down and did the same. Seeing that all of them had already succumbed to him, Chen Xiaobei then strode towards Naya. Due to the fear of death, Naya kneeled in front of Chen Xiaobei immediately without any hesitation. Now that the Wolverine was killed, the rest of the 7 bodyguards were weaker than Chen Xiaobei. There was no way that they would dare to go against Chen Xiaobei. In the end, all 7 of them were left with no choice but to kneel down in front of Chen Xiaobei. Mr. Messenger. I'm at fault. I know you are the kind of man that would not bully a woman. I don't think you would stoop to my level, right? Said Naya seductively. She then winked at Chen Xiaobei and showed off her cleavage to him. Hee. You are right. I will never bully woman, said Chen Xiaobei while smiling. Immediately, Naya let out a sigh of relief. As long as she could calm Chen Xiaobei down, she did not mind sacrificing her body to him. To her surprise, Chen Xiaobei said, however, I don't think you are a woman. All I see is a toxic bitch kneeling in front of me.